So here in my 13 by 9, I went to the grocery store and I picked up these fresh croissants. So you're gonna wanna grab the store-bought already croissants because you can see that they're like really nice and airy, which is exactly what we want for this recipe. And I'm just gonna take my kitchen shears and I'm gonna cut them up into thirds. We kind of want like these big bite-sized pieces. If you're using a bigger 13 by 9, you might need more croissants, but I'm using 6 for this recipe. I'm just gonna cut them right in here, you know, just to use less dishes, and it's really convenient and holds everything really well. Perfect, so I'm just gonna move this to the side. So here in a smaller mixing bowl, I'm taking 3 eggs, and we are gonna measure out some heavy cream. So I'm gonna take, this is half a cup, and this is gonna really help just fluff up the eggs. I really love using heavy cream in all of my egg recipes. It makes such a big difference. It just makes them so light and fluffy, and it gives it a little bit more of a creamy flavor. And I'm gonna throw in some black pepper seasoning. This is gonna be really simple. It's just gonna be some black pepper and some salt, which is all we need for this recipe. So once you have your eggs well seasoned, we're just gonna whisk this together real quick. And I'm just gonna take my egg beater and I'm just gonna break apart the yolks real quick, and then we're just gonna whisk it super fast. It should only take about a minute. So there we go, just after about 30 seconds to a minute of whisking, you can see that we have a nice consistency. And we're gonna bring back in our awesome croissants. This is right in the middle here. And then one by one, so look, I'm just gonna grab it and we're just gonna dunk it and just kind of smother it all over this egg mixture. And we're gonna put this back into our 13 by 9. So yeah, you can see how convenient it is that we left it in the 13 by 9 because we just pick it up, scoop it, dunk it, and this is gonna be such an awesome and tasty recipe, especially with these croissants. They're just so light and fluffy, and it's gonna be such an awesome breakfast that you can make. Or, I mean, I'm having it for lunch, so it's a great lunch recipe as well. And yeah, I'm just gonna do this real fast. You guys can go ahead and take your time, but you just wanna make sure that the whole egg gets soaked. You know, that's why we're using the croissants, because they're so airy, so it really takes up this egg mixture awesomely. Perfect. So once we get down to this last one, we're just gonna kind of rearrange them a bit just to make sure that there's no overlap. We really wanna stuff these in there. So next, right on top of that, here I got some honey roasted turkey breast. So you can use turkey or ham for this recipe. I'm using the turkey just because I love this turkey with this recipe so much. It's such a nice flavor. And I'm just gonna take it and look, we're just gonna scrunch it up like this, and we're gonna nestle this in between all of the gaps that you see. So this is why we didn't want it too packed. You know, we needed to make room for this turkey. And look, we're just gonna nestle it in there, just get some nice little chunks of meat, and we're gonna do this across the whole pan. This is gonna be our source of protein for this recipe. And this is such a fun dish to make. It always comes out looking so pretty. It looks like you order it at a restaurant. And all it takes is a little bit of time and patience, and the reward at the end when you get to bite into this is more than enough. So I'm just gonna do this real quick. I'm just gonna nestle them in there. I wanna try to use this whole pack of turkey, but if there's anything left over, you know, I might just feed my dog, but don't tell anybody. And yeah, I'm just gonna make sure to get these edges, and you just wanna make sure to scrunch them up a little bit, or you can place them in there, because once we bake this, it's gonna get such a nice color on top, and it's gonna be so delicious. Okay, so I only see a few spots missing, so I'm just gonna place this nice big piece right here, and maybe one more little bit right here. And look at how awesome this is looking already. Okay, so one last final touch. So here I'm using the Tillamook. This is the extra sharp white cheddar, and look, I cut them up into like these bite-sized pieces. And just like with the turkey, we're just gonna find some little crevices and just nestle them in there. This cheese is gonna melt so nicely. So if you are using the turkey like me, make sure to pick up like a white cheese, either like this white cheddar, or you can use some Swiss as well. I feel like white cheese and turkey go so well together. You know, if you're using a ham, I would go for like a cheddar or like a Colby Jack blend, but just make sure to get these cheese in there. And you wanna make sure that they're nice big pieces like this. We're not using the shredded cheddar for this, or the shredded cheese for this recipe, because we just want it to kind of melt over and be super gooey. And look, so I'm just gonna nestle this right here. So now that we got our cheese everywhere, this is gonna go into a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes. Okay, so our croissants are almost finished cooking, and I'm just gonna prepare this last finishing touch. So here I have a half stick of melted butter, and I'm gonna take some clover honey. I'm just gonna do a big squeeze of this So I'm not measuring it out, but just enough to get that kind of sweetness and the butter in there. So we're gonna brush it as soon as it gets out of the oven, and it's just gonna give us such a nice, sweet and buttery flavor. This is a must for this recipe. All right, look at how awesome this turned out. So this was in there for 30 minutes exactly. It's still a little hot, the cheese is a little bubbly. You can see that the turkey crisp up nice and perfect. So I'm just gonna take some of this honey butter that we made, and we're just gonna slather it right on top over the whole thing. Like I said, this is such an awesome finishing touch. Could really use this. The croissants are already sweet, but I just like adding this on top for the fun. And this is ready to serve. I cannot wait. So look, I'm just gonna take my corner piece here, which is my favorite, and look at how awesome. So this is why we use that Tillamook sharp cheddar. Look at how nice it melted. Cannot wait to taste. Time for the best part. So yeah, this croissant, especially the store-bought ones, they're so nice and fluffy. Look, cannot wait to taste this one. Ooh, I'm gonna get a big bite for myself. I'm telling you, that honey glaze at the top really makes this dish come together.